moving forward. A couple of familiar faces, a couple of very popular faces on campus here in East Lansing. Always a pleasure to say hello to our friend Mark Hollis, athletic director of this great establishment. You find yourself a nice little friend here.
Brought my old roommate.
Bring your old roommate Dave.
Yeah. It was a great night last night. You know, Midnight Madness kicked off.
You better believe it.
Part of just what a great weekend in the state of Michigan with basketball starting. You know, we lose Tom now. He's always on our back all day, and then once the season starts, we get rid of him for a little while because he has to do his day job. But you know, we came out last night, Susie and coaches, and what a great night. The video boards were spectacular. Had a reunion back with all the guys. You know, with the NBA down right now, probably a little bit bigger than normal, but to have all those guys back was really a great mark for this program.
And Coach Izzo, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Everything went well with Midnight Madness last night. I guess kind of a Top Gun theme, huh?
Yeah, we did the aircraft carrier theme, and it was great. Our people, you know, Mark has started this whole thing, as you know, way back, and then, but he's got his people going right now, and I think Paul Shager and his group did a phenomenal job. Barb Armstrong, our video guy there, he did some things I've never seen. And as Mark said, the new video boards and the new ribbon are just going to add enormously to have a packed house, and how can you beat that for Midnight Madness?
Well, how can you beat? And you know, we've discussed amongst ourselves, Coach, you know, what Mark Hollis has done for this university from a creative standpoint. And, you know, I don't really know if it was his idea on 11-11-11 to have a basketball game on the aircraft carrier, by the way, that disposed of with North Carolina. But what a tremendous day that's going to be for the university and for college basketball.
Well, if you don't know if it was his idea, ask me. You know, we talked about it way back in Kuwait. I said, you should say he came up with it. We tried back when almost got it done down in Jacksonville, Florida, and I kind of forgot about it, you know, and then Shazam, all of a sudden this year it came back to fruition. And if you got to do something I got to do, you kind of really appreciate what he's done for Michigan State. When I went to New York, you know, we met with all the major media, we met with admirals from the Navy, senators, and you kind of realize how big this thing is and how much work it took to put it together. And if it goes off, and I think it will, this is just like the hockey team here that's now done in the NHL, just like the basketball game in the football field that now every Final Four is done. This could be the next stamp for the team.
And you got your security clearance despite that pasty incident on the UP, huh?
Yeah, they're looking back in the UP. Thank God up there we don't keep records with computers, so it's cool.
Well, what a day it's going to be there, Marcus, and you're able to pull this off. And now we get late word this past week, as a matter of fact, that President Obama is going to be in attendance.
It really is, and I was talking to the 3 game officials this morning, in fact, and was telling them that their calls will not only be criticized by Roy and Coach Izzo, but also by the Commander-in-Chief, so they better be ready on their A game. And you know, to have him there, I think ratchets it up to another level. Obviously, a lot more interest in the event when you can have somebody of that stature at the event. Magic's going to be there. A lot of folks are making the trip down from Hollywood, so it's going to be a spectacular event. There's still a lot of work to go, and we've got people on our campus from Wendy Brown, Kevin Paga, Matt Larson that are putting in that extra work that's above and beyond the norm of every year, and it's you know, coach just has to go out and coach another game, but it's all the intangible. It's funny because when we scheduled this, we thought North Carolina might be a little depleted with some guys going into the NBA. Right. And coach is driving down the road, and one after another, they're starting to come back. So we're pretty much playing an NBA team out on the carrier. But it's going to be fun.
Well, Coach, going back to last year, as we're knocking on the door of another collegiate basketball season, I know, to a degree anyway, a frustrating year for you. You've been in this game for a long time. But moving forward, you're very optimistic about the team that you have. The chemistry is outstanding. Sometimes chemistry is overused in the world of sports, but it certainly applies to this team you have coming in.
That's the Boston Red Sox, so much chemistry.
Yeah.
No, you know, we had a lot of issues last year, you know, some injuries, but I think it's great that we can talk about a disappointing year. Mark and I talked about it, you talked about it, media talk about, people can talk about it.
Sure.
And we all agree. But at this point here, still getting the NCAA tournament, spending 20 games, and that means you've kind of arrived at things that were here, and yet we've got an incredible schedule again. We only opened it in North Carolina to do, and I blame my AD for that. I take all the other scheduling parts, but got to blame the AD, especially the issue room.
It all trickles downhill.
But you know what's interesting? We don't give a damn about basketball today, because today is a big day for football. And really honestly, I'll bet you if you ask Mark and Tom, that is the only thing on our minds, other than the fact we've got 10, 12, 15 kids that are coming here that I'm going to make sure I take care of. Well, that's the only basketball part I'm doing.
Well, the last thing about basketball I want to talk about, because I'm kind of bummed out about, is Delvon Roe. Kid gave his heart and soul to this program. Knees took a beating. He still played from time to time when he was in pain. Boy, I'll tell you, that's the bad side of your job, Tom Izzo, when you've got a kid like this who cares so much about the adversity in the game. And
well, it was a tough day, and it was a long day that day, but it's been since his senior year in high school, and in a crazy kind of way, at least we know now. Every day he's compressed, one inch is compressed, everything we went to, we're going to get through. Hard too, so I think, the negative of that, Delvon's still kind of with us there last night. The positive is Nick's in pain. Those guys got a chance to grow now, and it's not going to be easy replacing the guy that's starting 2 Final Fours, but at the same time, his health, his career is important, and we're moving on, and that's what we got to do in this profession, and we're going to move on in a good way.
all right, 104th meeting between the Spartans of Michigan State and the Wolverines of Michigan. As I mentioned before, going to you fellas, Mark D'Antonio 3-1 against that school from down the street. And your job is to make sure that your fine staff here is happy. And Coach D'Antonio got himself a new deal. Mark, way to go.
Yeah, it was a really good deal for everyone, and it was a situation where we wanted to take care of Mark and Becky and their family for the long term. And there's a lot of things that went into it that connect the family and connect this university for years to come. And very fortunate to have the coaches that we have. That's why we have the success we do. And the great thing is the way they blend with each other. And you'll see coaches at each other's practice. You'll see coaches at each other's homes. And that's not normal at a lot of universities. It's a true trait here. And even when kids are in trouble or kids have concerns or frustrations, it's very normal to see a football guy in Izzo's office or a hockey player over at football. It's a unique environment here at Michigan State. We're blessed to have it. It's because of the coaches and staff.
It's my opinion, and only my opinion, that to become a legend, it's not only based on wins and losses and what you do in that regard for any given athletic program. I think to become a legend, a lot of it has to do with what you do off the field, off the court, for that program that you allegedly sometimes love. Well, there is no allegedly here with the man sitting to your immediate left. As to the mark that he has left on the university that I think Tom Izzo truly does love. His resume is unparalleled when it comes to coaching record. And again, not just coaching record, the impact he has had on this institution since he's been here.
Well, it really has, and it most recently came forward in a gift that Tom, Luby, Raquel, and Stephen came forward with as a family. And an amazing gift to Michigan State University. It's going to impact so many people in the future. And a major part of it went to football. People may step back and say, why football? And it's football, one, because of the significance it has in our athletic program, but it's also the significance it has in the university and how many people it impacts. If you go out early into the stadium, you're going to see all 25 sports with recruits on the sideline. If you walk around campus, you're going to see every academic unit on campus having some kind of a gathering where they bring their alums back. They get excited about the college, they get excited about the university as a whole, and that's what Coach Izzo and his family are invested in. It's that togetherness, the core that football brings, and I guess I can let him speak for himself, but that's what we talk about.
Coach, a tremendous gift. You got together with your lovely family, and boy, I'll tell you what, that's something else.
Well, Mark said it best, but it's actually dragged on, because Mark and I talked about this a couple of years ago, and one thing leads to another. The university's been really good to me, and there's no question, really good to me. But he said it best, you know. And I don't think what you get enough credit for when you're an athletic director. You look at it. We won 5 Big Ten championships last year. I think he hired 3 or 4 of the coaches in that short period of time since he's been there with Jake Boss and Jimmy Merch and Mark Antonio, you know. So it goes into hiring people and it goes into mentoring them. And Mark's made me real happy. They take care of me tremendously. And what he said, just look around. Football is still the straw that stirs the drink. And whether we want to admit it or not, and I bet a lot of people would, even some of the academic group, because it gets our name out there where people around the country see us. We get better students here. And, you know, there's no doubt Rose Bowls and things like that draw more students. So it's positive energy. And if there's a better day to walk around campus than it's like this, I don't care what the weather, this is, you know, this is, well, it's like June in UP. It's not July, we get a little warm right there, but it's great. And that's what I like.
I was going to say, up in the UP, Speedo sales are through the roof on a day like that.
Well, not for guys like you, but for most of us, yes.
Well, thanks for pointing that out. Before we let you go, I was moved by the donation of your beautiful family there, Tom. So, Mark, here's $1. You'll get 999,000 more, $1 a month.
That's what I love about you, Steve.
I'm a giving guy, Tom.
You know what? I was going to make that a $500,000, but when Mark and I played golf league a couple years ago, we won enough money that we could cover that.
Well, you know what? You are a competitor, aren't you? I'm looking forward to our Monday and Friday visits right around the corner there, Coach.
Well, you know what? I appreciate it that you and WJR and everybody has done. I think as you look at what Mark has done, and that includes this great radio station, when you look at all the things, it's made us better as an athletic program, and you've been a big part of that, Steve. And even though we kid you, we appreciate you. I appreciate Mark, and I love the job. I'm going to enjoy football right on now till the end of this game.
And I think about 3:30, quarter to 4 this afternoon, we'll be celebrating the 4th straight win.
That's okay.
Yeah! All right. See you soon. All right, it's 9:40.